All right, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today for this program. Welcome to our LA County Library virtual event, Turn Your Hobby into an Online Business. My name is Caroline Chang, and I'm the Arts Program Manager at LA County Library, and I'll be your moderator. And also joining us is Jose Parra, our Adult Services Coordinator here as well. So for today's program, the very wonderful Ernesto from the LA County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs will be talking about the essentials of what to think about when starting an online business from your hobby or passion project or arts practice that you have. If you have any questions during the program, please share them with us on the right-hand side of your screen in the Q&A section. At the end of the presentation, there will be a Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer all of your questions that you typed in. If you're having any technical issues or difficulties or any other issues, please write it in the comment section. And please make sure you set it to all panelists so that all of our staff here can see it and try to address them as needed. And we will be sharing a recording of this presentation with all the participants today if you missed anything, and that will be emailed to you later in the week or next week. And if you're interested in participating in more of our upcoming virtual programs, please visit us at lacountylibrary.org. So without further ado, why don't we get started? And it's my pleasure to introduce Ernesto.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Caroline. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Hopefully, this information is of use or help. As Caroline mentioned, we will be holding a Q&A section at the end. If you do ask us a question that's pertinent to what I'm talking or addressing, I will try and answer it on the fly. If not, I will circle back at the end to address any questions you may have. So definitely submit your questions through the Q&A, and we will try and get them all answered in the course of the webinar today. Just real quick to give you a little bit of a background of the department I work for, and with the LA County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs, we provide a variety of services to both consumers and small businesses. So as a consumer, we provide consumer counseling and complaint investigation. So as a consumer, if you ever have any issues, a company or organization doesn't want to provide you a warranty or doesn't, there's any issues whatsoever with any type of purchase, you can call us. We can give you direction, even if it's landlord-tenant issues, contracts, auto purchase, we can give you that guidance of what is or isn't allowed, what should be done, and you can take it from there. If there's a need to go to small claims court, we do have free mediation services first to help you mediate, again, whatever issue you may have with the contractor, with your neighbor, someone else. The mediation is binding at the end of the mediation. If both parties don't want to go to a mediator, we can provide guidance and assistance with small claims court so that you are prepared when you go to small claims court. We provide a lot of consumer education, public outreach, and guidance on minimum wage. With regards to the small business services side, we have the concierge program, which I oversee, and under concierge, we provide entrepreneurs as yourself or established businesses the assistance, guidance, direction to either hopefully get your doors open and up and running, or grow and expand your business. If you're looking to get into government contracting, our department also provides assistance, not just with certifications as a local small business, minority-owned, women-owned, and some of the other certs, as well as getting to government contracting at the federal, state, and local levels. We can definitely provide you that counseling guidance of what to do, how to do it, so you can prepare yourself and definitely go after government contracts. The biggest consumer complaints that our office receives are landlord-tenant, retail sales, identity theft, real estate auto debt collection. So again, any issues, any questions, whether yourself, family, friends, please spread the word, send them our direction. We're here to assist. Just a quick disclaimer, if I do provide any information that may seem to be related to tax or legal advice, I am not an attorney nor a CPA, so it's all general information. And just a little bit about myself. My background, I have a degree in mathematics, a master's in public administration. Been with the county for about 15 years. Currently, I'm the business development manager, operations center manager. Prior to my current role, I was doing real estate appraisals for both residential, commercial properties for LA County, valuing properties up to $500 million worth in value. Previously, before coming to LA County, I worked in the private sector as an international sales manager for 12 plus years, lived abroad for 2 years, and traveled extensively through Latin America and Western Europe, providing assistance guidance to local small businesses who are representatives to help them sell the product by giving that not just sales, but also technical guidance and assistance. Today, these are the 3 key elements or areas we're going to cover. Online sites and consideration, what you do as you look to go from hobby to business, permits, licenses, and requirements, all the regulatory aspects of requirements when you are looking to open a business. And then finally, what resources are out there to help you in the process. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of information. There still maybe a lot of questions. This is more of a intro to give you some guidance, direction, what's out there, the different platforms, what can be done. And then at that point, as you make a decision of what you're going to do, which way you're going to go, hopefully this may help fill in the gaps and then get you to the right resources to continue. So if you're looking to start an online business and you're taking your hobby, and many times when it's a hobby, the first routes are online, maybe a farmer's market. Right now with COVID-19, many farmers markets are closed. Some are operating since they're outdoors, as long as they maintain the distances, follow the safety protocols. And so a lot of times, many people want to get into online business because it's a minimal cost, right? Minimal investment. You don't have to go lease a space that can run you potentially $1,000 or more. Added utilities, added costs, added insurance, potentially have to carry a lot of inventory for your space. So it's very important. It's an area that a lot of people look for to go online to sell the products. And especially if you have a hobby, an art, a craft that you're really good at, maybe family, friend, or you've thought that, hey, I should start selling it. So just to cover the 5 key areas where much of the online business is conducted, and many of you will probably be doing multiple of these aspects as you establish potentially your online business and turn that hobby into a business. So if you go online, there's drop shipping. Drop shipping is essentially you're selling someone else's product, you promote it, you get a sale, and you don't have to carry the inventory. Makes it kind of nice. So low investment, almost no money out of pocket. Then what you do is once you get the sale, you submit the order to the company, the manufacturer, and they go ahead and ship it directly to the buyer. Fairly straightforward, fairly simple. Of course, usually the money you make isn't too high, but again, it's low out-of-pocket expense, fairly inexpensive. Online videos, if you go ahead and create videos of information, maybe depending on your arts and craft, you are good at DIY, right? Do it yourself, and you decide to do a lot of videos on how to do certain things so that you can teach other people do it. That's another way to definitely generate that money, that ad revenue, in addition to potentially selling your arts and crafts. Blogging is very key. Some people strictly focus on blogging by going out and creating these blogs with engaging content to pull people in, have them read, and as a result of getting those clicks, they get the ad revenue from the site. And again, as you're looking to create your business, especially in the arts and craft area, a lot of times doing the blogging, doing the online video are ways or elements to spread the word of what you can offer, what you do, what your arts and crafts are. Affiliate marketing, that's when you're driving business to certain websites. And again, if you are looking to do your arts and crafts, this one may not fall into play or in line with you, but it's another type of business. A lot of people now with Pinterest and Instagram and some of these other sites, you'll see people will wear some type of new outfit or shoes. And when you click on it, it redirects you to the website of the seller to buy that product. So it's just a way to allow you and direct you to another type of business, right? As you develop, you may want to include some of these elements of your business. And then lastly, information products. Again, based on your background, your experience, your knowledge. Even though I know this was more geared towards arts and crafts, again, you may have certain knowledge where you can create, interview someone, do a webinar, put a quick short book on how to do the arts and crafts, how you do what you do, or, as you create your arts and crafts, where do you go? How do you do it? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to focus more on the site, because when you're starting out with a hobby, and right now with COVID-19, everything closed up, e-commerce may be the best way to go. Again, it's an expensive, larger audience potentially. And so let's go ahead and talk about online private label. You're going to be promoting your own arts and crafts, your items, even though you may look at potentially selling third-party items. Again, this will give you a lot of background information as you decide what to do, which way to go. So when you go to e-commerce or online, there's two areas. There's the marketplace, which would be your Etsy, your eBay, your Amazon, which we're familiar with. They're existing e-commerce sites, right? If you want to buy from the site, you actually go to their specific website, you search for a product, and then there's hundreds, if not thousands, of listings of said products that you then decide which one you want to potentially sell. And it's an easy way to list all your products, and hopefully you get the click, you get the sale. With the web store, such as the Shopify, it's almost like creating your own website. Shopify allows you to quickly create your own site. It's your private label. You have control, you have more say, and I'll get into more details with each of these shortly. But this really allows you to, as you're trying to decide how to brand, which way to go, how to begin your e-commerce or fine tune it, because maybe you already started playing, dabbling in it, and you're looking how to expand. Hopefully this adds a little bit of information of what to do or more direction. Should you go with the marketplace or web store? And if you go marketplace, which is the best one that works for you? So first, let's focus just on a marketplace, which was your Amazon, your eBay. So the pros is anyone can get started. You just quickly create an account, upload the listings, and you're up and running. There's an existing customer base. A lot of these websites have been around for a while. They're very trusted. They're well known, which the next bullet item is established trust. And therefore, a lot of people, when they're looking for something, they will go to the site to check first to see if they have it, what's the price point. I find myself sometimes when I'm out shopping at a retail store, I might just jump online real quick on Amazon and see if they sell the same product, what's the price point on the product versus what they have at the store, because if I order it or I buy it locally. And so this is very key, very helpful. And of course, manage with an app. A lot of these sites have an app, so it makes it very simple for your customers to find you on their phone. They don't have to be at home on a computer to a website. Even though if you jump on the website for these sites, they're mobile friendly, the app just makes it that much simpler so that any mobile device you can do those searches find, and they can potentially find you. Of course, what are the drawbacks? It's a saturated market. As I mentioned earlier, if it's not hundreds, you may have thousands and thousands of people selling what you're trying to sell. And here is where the reviews are going to matter. You need to find ways to engage and pull your customers to write reviews, to comment. Whenever I buy something out, every so often I do get that email saying, please, thank you for buying the product. Please, write a review and let us know how we did or what you think of the product, XYZ, just to, again, get that review. It's really important. The more reviews, the higher stars, of course. It adds more trust and differentiates you selling the same product as the next person on the list selling the exact same product with potentially less reviews. Very, very key. marketplace loyalty. There's these sites have built a loyalty base. Customers that go back regularly, buy a lot, regularly purchase, sometimes even impulse buy on these sites. So again, that definitely, but they will focus with a specific customer, a specific area. So if you are in Amazon, you're competing in a saturated market, and people who have loyalty to eBay or one of the other sites, Etsy or something, may not come and potentially to Amazon, if you're in Amazon, to buy from you or find you. So again, harder to market, harder to differentiate yourself. You don't have your own website, you don't have your own branding, nothing differentiates you. Everyone's going to the site, to eBay, to Etsy, to Amazon, and there's no way to know that you have, your specific XYZ jewelry store, vintage items, whatever it may be that you're selling. And then there's going to be certain terms of service. There's certain restrictions. There are going to be items you may or may not be able to sell, that you may be impacted. So there's going to be restrictions of what you do, how you do it, and there will be those limitations, which for some of you, it won't matter. It will make no difference. For others, it may have enough of an impact that made you decide, I don't want to be in a marketplace. I'd rather be, excuse me, rather go the different direction and do a web store instead. Now, marketplace, let's focus more on the specific website. If we look at Etsy, what are the advantages? So with Etsy, they cater specifically to sellers marketing their own creations. So if you're in the arts and crafts, Etsy is definitely going to be higher in your list versus doing an Amazon or eBay. Not that Amazon or eBay are bad, but again, people who are buying and they're looking for someone who is creating their own arts and crafts, they're going to end up on a Etsy website to look up information to see what is available, what they can find before they go to an Amazon, eBay, just because of practice or knowledge, or if they're used to knowing what to look for where. Now, what are the advantages? Within Etsy, you do have your own store, but you're still part of Etsy, but you'll be able to create your own individual pocket where you'll be able to promote your product line. It's a very niche crowd, so if you're doing arts and crafts, this would definitely be high on your list. And it's a very easy website to navigate, very easy to create your content, your section, your page to promote your products. Now, of course, the drawback is you're going to have imitators and you're limited on the branding. If someone sees that you are selling, that you are popular, someone may be able to create something that looks similar to your page, sell a similar product, and start trying to take your customers away. So that is always part of the challenge, because it's all within the Etsy brand. And then, of course, even though you may be able to customize a little bit your branding, gives you a little bit more ability than eBay or Amazon does, it still limits the level of branding you can do. Now, the next one is eBay. eBay has been around for a very, very long time, and similar to Etsy, eBay is another venue that is suitable for taking that first step into e-commerce. It's good for individual sales. If you're selling one item of X, one item of Y, it's great. It's a bidding system. Many of you are already familiar with eBay. It's a way you can either sell it for X point, or you can do a bidding war and hopefully be able to drive up the price and make a little bit of more profit on your arts and crafts or whatever you may have in mind to sell. And again, it's very easy to set up your account and get started, get rolling, because the infrastructure is there. You just have to go in, create your account, and start adding your functionality, and you're up and running in a matter of minutes, per se. Now, the cons, of course, customers are tough. They're going to be very picky. Unfortunately, you get those who they call joy bidders. They're going to go in there and drive up the price. And then at the end of the day, they do not buy, even though they win the bid, which means then you have to turn around, relist the product, and go through the process again. And of course, it's very buyer-sided. eBay is designed for the buyer, right? Doing the bidding, trying to get the best price. So you might not be able to go in and say, this is the price point I want to sell it. You have to potentially maybe even come in a little lower, and hopefully the price drives it up to the price point you want and above to get your profit. Next is your Amazon. So about a third of the items sold on Amazon, typo, apologize, are sold by third-party sellers, including items eligible for Prime shipping. So Amazon, again, popular search engine. Many, if not all of us, regularly go to Amazon to look for stuff, see what to find. If you do a search online for a product, Amazon always tends to be at the top of the list of that product. You click on it, and then it brings it up with the list of all the potential sellers within Amazon carrying that product. Really easy to fulfill. You click buy, the products can be in your door within a day, 2 days, within a week, depending on the product, if it's Prime or not, eligible, very quick, very simple. You have a lot of customers who actually have the membership, who are Prime members for the 2-day shipping. And so, again, they get that preference. UPS discount. So one of the beauties is if it's not Prime eligible, or if you're going to have to cover shipping, the UPS does provide a discount if you're selling through Amazon, which is another big benefit. Definitely helps to bring down the cost, because sometimes the cost of shipping can make you win or lose an order. And affiliate program. So Amazon has an active referral program, meaning that there's a whole network of people who are incentivized to link to your product on Amazon. Additionally, you can earn a commission for anything someone buys, including from other sellers, when you send people to your own listing with a referral link. So it's very popular. And again, it takes a while to learn how to navigate, take advantage of all the functionality within Amazon. One of the benefits with Amazon is also that if you, let's say, sell in Shopify, or you create your own website and you also sell on Amazon, and Amazon has your inventory, they allow for you to get the order in your personal website, and then you log into your account in Amazon, put in the information, put in the order, and Amazon will drop ship the product directly to the customer, even though you sold it, and all they'll charge you is a small commission and the shipping fee. So another benefit of Amazon to potentially have as a second site if you decide to go with the Webstore, or even with the multiple marketplaces, depending on your product, again, what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to push. Now, the cons, what are the drawbacks? No email addresses. You do not have the contact information of your customers who are buying from you. You're not able to email them directly. All you can do is send an email to anyone who's purchased, but you do not see their personal information. It's sent through Amazon, and then you get that email asking you to potentially go in and go rate them or whatever it may be. It's very highly competitive. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle. You can look up an item and there's a list of hundreds and hundreds of the same item. Which one do you buy? There's a variety of different brands, and it just gets overwhelming. So how do you differentiate yourself in a long list? Limited attribution. So what does that mean? From one-click shopping to consolidated product pages with a rotating buy box, Amazon is designed for buyers to consider purchases to be from Amazon, regardless of it being item listed by a third party. Or if it's very buyer-sided as well. Like eBay, Amazon tends to side with the buyer during disputes. So these are things to think about. If you go with the marketplace, and again, marketplace, the terminology relates to existing sites that are pre-built. You go in, minimal cost, there's no development on your side or minimal development in creating your page or your information, and you go from there. So now let's go to a web store. So we were talking about, as I mentioned, marketplaces established. You can't stand out. So the benefit of a web store is that it doesn't limit you. You go create your web store. It helps with your branding, the development. You can create your own website, or you can jump on like a Shopify, which allows you some of that personalization. So what are the advantages? Again, it's your own site. You develop, you create it how you want, you promote your products as you wish. You can decide how much you sell your products for, the color scheme, the logos, everything. There aren't going to be as many terms and conditions, requirements. You have access to email addresses and all contact information of your customers, so you can constantly reach out to them, let them know you have new products, something new that you created. You run your own promotions. If you want to give a discount, if you want to send out discount codes, you have full control to everything. Of course, the drawback is now you're going to have to set up the work. You have to develop the site. There's a lot more logistics. If you're creating your own website and it's not tied to a Shopify or some of the other web store style established sites, that means you're going to have to learn a little bit of programming or hire someone to program the site, to develop it, create these secure connections when you're looking to sell for people to be able to pay. You have to figure out the whole shipping aspect of it for the address, the sales tax aspect. When I get into the regulatory side of it, I'll get into more details about the sales taxes and what to consider. But that becomes into part of the challenges. And finally, more marketing. If you have your own website, you really have to market. And if you recall earlier, I talked about what are elements of how do you make more money, online businesses that you can start with minimal to no cost. So blogging is one, videos are others. So this, again, if you do your own web store, you're going to want to find ways to market. And you can market by taking advantage of those other online e-commerce type of sites or creations to get direct customers to your location, bring them and get that brand known through blogging, online videos, and whatever it is that will help definitely generate content, interest, and eventually get these customers to come to you. So Shopify is considered a web store, and they're a hosting provider. So that basically means that it's already established. There's the site is there. You're able to go in, list your items, but it's going to give you a little bit more functionality than an Amazon, an eBay, or Etsy. It's going to let you essentially differentiate yourself, make yourself look like it's your own site. It gives you a little bit more of that personalization, which you lose with a marketplace. So think of it, I guess this is the easiest way to separate or differentiate marketplace from web store. Marketplace is essentially you go to, let's say you go to Target, and as you go into Target, there's just a bunch of stands, right? You go into a Target place, there's a lot of little sections, and you're going to go buy what you want from each section, but there's no differentiation once you're inside. You're basically at Target, and you don't know who's selling what product really. Where with the web store, it's more of the mall. You go to the mall, and you walk into the mall, and there's a bunch of different stores, and you're going to see the store, and you can see what brand, the name of that business, and you decide which of those business you want to go into because you have that personalization. You're going to be able to stand out. So one of the benefits, at least the Shopify, they have an app store. So again, you have that application which allows your customers to find you through an app, very easy through mobile devices. They allow through with payment processing. So you creating your own website, figuring out how to make it a secured website, how to add credit card functionality, PayPal functionality, the shipping, all that part of it, that goes away and it's put into within Shopify. They provide those elements, so it makes it kind of nice. You don't have to start from scratch, but it still again gives you that individuality. It has a content management system, which is basically allows you to works kind of like WordPress in the backside. For those of you who know or worked with WordPress, so essentially it's a content management system, a computer software that's allowed to use to manage, create, and modify digital content. CMS are typically used for enterprise content management and web content management. So it's built in, it allows you to really go in there, again, customize, create, and do your own themes. Now, the cons is, again, base functionality. It's designed to just give you the bare elements. You still can make it very yours, but it's going to be a very basic website. Where if you had your own website, of course, you can create content, videos, and do a lot more within your own website. But of course, that comes with a lot more work, a lot more expense, and need more knowledge or hire a programmer to do that work. So what are the best options? I mean, as you're looking to go, turn your hobby into an online business and then some, what should you do? Should you go with the web store? Should you go with the marketplace? And that's where it's really boils down to who are your customers, really sitting down, trying to figure out what that business plan, to figure out who your customers are, the demographics, how are you going to access them? What are you going to do? And of course, usually part of the recommendation is really to use both the marketplace and a web store. I know it doesn't help. It doesn't narrow it down for you to say go X versus Y, but they both have a lot of benefits. For example, repeat customers will eventually buy from your store, higher profit. So what does that mean? Let's say you start out at a marketplace, such as an eBay, Amazon, or so on. Eventually, you have customers that are going to know your brand, know who you are, even though you are in an Amazon or an eBay or an Etsy. Eventually, as they get to know you, you will find a way to get them to your website, and now they're going to buy directly from you, which increases your profits. You don't have to share it with the marketplace that you're associated with. Your brand gets more web presence. If you have your own website, that's great. But again, unless you market or people happen to come across your website, how are they going to find you? If you're on one of these other sites, a marketplace, by searching for a product, they may come across you and eventually learn about you and eventually end up in your website. So again, that gives you just a little bit more presence. Depending on these websites, some of them have a minimal low monthly fee for an account. Some of them charge by transaction. So again, it's a matter of seeing, okay, what makes sense, what works. When you look at searches, a web store outranks marketplaces and search engine result pages. So early on, repeatable marketplaces provide that credibility. A lot of verbiage. In short, early on, when someone's looking to buy, they're going to buy more comfortably from an Amazon, since they know that if they don't like the product, if there's any issues, they're going to be able to get a refund, get it replaced, no questions asked, right? Amazon's not going to hold them against it. So it gives you that credibility, but eventually, as you create your website and they get to know your product, whenever there's searches, your individual website will outrank an Amazon or an eBay for individuality. So again, as you build up your business, it's good to have your own web store, because eventually that can end up at the top of the search results. Package inserts. So with package inserts, you want to use this definitely if you go into a marketplace. If you've purchased products recently, many of you may have recalled the product arrives, you open it, and there's always a little business card size, or maybe sometimes a 5x7, an 8x10, a 4x5 piece of paper in there that gives the name of the company, their website, and it basically says, for warranty issues, more information, please visit our website. So if you sell on Amazon, they don't want to lose their business. They don't want someone like you going in, selling your product, your art, your craft, and then stealing them to your website. So they don't really allow it. However, a card that says, thank you for buying my product, to learn how to maintain, how to take care of it, how to, whatever it is, or for warranty, if there's any issues with the shipping or the item, please go to our website, provide feedback, ask questions. So by doing this, or providing that customer support, it's a way to get that customer to your website. And now they have your website. And now in the future, if they purchase, they'll be going to your website versus going to an Amazon, Etsy to try and find you and buy. That again goes back to the very first one, higher profits when they buy from you. So it's a way to get around to promote your business and get customers from a marketplace over to Webstore as you're growing and establishing your credibility and growing your store. So that kind of covers the key elements that I wanted to cover today when it comes to online commerce, the difference between a marketplace and a web store. And now what I want to do is get into the regulatory side of it. When you're looking to open a business, there are certain permits and licenses that you are required. And as you open these businesses, you want to make sure that everything is in order. You're paying your taxes. The last thing you want to do is owe sales tax. The California Franchise Tax Board is not too forgiving. They definitely will come after you for their taxes with penalties. So we want to make sure that everything that is done correctly. So what I'm going to be covering at this point is getting into what you need to do to establish yourself as a business fulfilling all the basic main elements, permits and licenses, from picking your business structure. Are you going to be a sole proprietor? Is it a partnership? Are you going to be doing a corporation? To getting, do you need an employer identification number from the IRS? What potential permits licenses do you need locally in your city? Your seller's permit and any business license tax that you may need. So first off is choosing your business structure. As you're trying to decide what to do, which route to go, you need to decide what risk are you able to tolerate. If you have your business, you have your personal life, your family life, as a sole proprietor or partnership, basically you're exposed to the business and the judgments. You as an individual, or if your partners, individuals, all are liable for any potential debt or judgment, and that can have a big impact. If you do form a corporation, there is some protection that are warranted or given, but again, it's not a solid line, because as the owner, president, CEO, whatever title you may want to give yourself in this corporation, LLC, C Corp, at the end of the day, you are going to be the personal guarantor. If you are found that you are liable, you're being negligent, or on the same note, if you're the only employee and you do something illegal or wrong, you are responsible. So the corporation will not protect you. A lot of times when businesses start out, they always start out as a sole proprietor partnership because it's less expensive as they get their feet wet, especially if the business is very low risk, low exposure. Getting into online sales, as long as you're not selling illegal products, products that may contain lead. If you're doing arts and crafts, you're not providing products that have chemicals or something that may cause some type of allergic reaction that is illegal. Again, if all that happens, it's very important to make sure that, of course, you choose wisely. But again, early on, when you're starting out, a lot of small businesses go with sole proprietor or partnership, and eventually as they grow and have higher exposure, they're making more money, they move into a corporation. But that, again, is falls on you to decide what's going to be the best route. So as you're choosing your business structure as a sole proprietor partnership, essentially what you're doing is you're registering your business name. When you register it, you're registering at the LA County, where if you're forming a corporation, with the corporation, it's at the state level. And the cost can vary. Sole proprietor partnership is going to run about $100 because it's about $26 to file. And then there's additional cost to run an ad in the paper for 4 weeks, That's why it gets to $100. Fairly straightforward. Now, if you're doing a corporation, it's a lot more costlier. It's not costly to file. However, you may be required to hire a lawyer to create your articles in incorporation, to create your corporation to submit to the state, and then the lawyer will charge maybe $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for the paperwork. Now, towards the end, Jose will be talking from the library. We'll be talking about excellent resources they have where you can access. If you're the type that likes to do the research, they have great books they can sit down and review to learn how to fill out the paperwork, how to create your own corporation. And then I'll also talk about resources, organizations that are out there if you qualify that can provide you that legal, free transactional assistance to create those articles of incorporation. Now, I did see one question here that, since it's on topic, I'm going to go ahead and answer it quickly. And it was, oh darn, it scrolled through and lost it. I apologize. Oh, it was a difference between a C Corp, S Corp. The biggest differences between the different corporations are just the way they're taxed, the way they're ran, if they have a board of directors or not. Those are going to be the key elements. So depending on the type of business you want to grow, how many owners, how many voting rights as your business grows, all those key elements come into play. So it takes, and then even the taxes. So it's very important to get a handle and really sit down to see which one works best for your type of business as you look to expand and grow. So if you decide to be a sole proprietor, which is essentially you as an individual, or a partnership, you and a family member, a couple of friends, a couple of strangers coming together to create your business, you're going to have to register that business name. When you go register your business name, you're doing it with the LA County Register Recorder, County Clerk, and it doesn't matter where in LA County your business will be located. If it's a home business, doesn't matter. You have to create your fictitious business name. Many of us, know it as a DBA, and you can start the process at lavote.net, which is the Register Recorder County Clerk's website. Once you're there, you can look up more information. So one more note, as a sole proprietor, if you are operating or selling your products as yourself, then you do not have to worry about having to register a fictitious business name because you're not using a fictitious name. If your business name does not have your last name, then what's it called? Or I should say, if your business name does have your last name, you don't have to register it. You can operate as a sole proprietor without the fictitious business name, but your last name has to be in the business name. And you have to make sure that the name of the business indicates what you're doing. If it's just, my last name's Bobadilla, if it's Bobadilla and Associates or Bobadilla's Products, etc., what exactly does that mean? There's no real guidance what type of business I'm doing. So the business name does have to have some type of indication, Bobadilla's jewelry, fine jewelry, or, I don't know. But essentially the name has to give an essence or idea of what type of business and have your last name. If the business name does not have your last name as a sole proprietor, you are required, if you're a partnership, you're required by law to register that business name if that's the type of entity you're creating. Now, if you decide to do a corporation, then you would file with the state. And as I mentioned, there's a large variety of corporations from a C Corp, S Corp, LLC. Then you have the, general partnership, limited partnership. So again, the link is here. You can go to the website. You can learn more about what the differences are, how they impact, as you decide what's going to be the best for you to decide which entity to do and which route to go. As you create your business, you may have a need for a business tax ID number. The business tax ID number is also referred to as an employee identification number, an EIN. It's a 9-digit number. Essentially, it protects your social security number and acts as the social security number for your business. It's required at any time if you're a sole proprietor and you start hiring employees. The moment you hire someone, you are required to have an EIN. Or if you are a non-employer, but if you're operating as a corporation or partnership. So you may be just by yourself, but if you're a corporation, you have to have an EIN. If you have a partnership, you have to have an EIN because there's several of you and you can't use just a single social security number. Your EIN is going to represent your company. But as a sole proprietor, if you have not hired anyone, you can just use a social security number. Since it's free to apply, we usually recommend to go to the IRS, get your EIN as a sole proprietor. It's going to protect you whenever you need to provide your social. Instead of providing your social security number, you're providing your employer identification number. If you don't have a social and you have an ITIN, you can use your ITIN also to apply for your EIN, and that way you can use your EIN for tax purposes. So very important, definitely get your EIN to protect yourself. And again, it's free of charge. Next up is the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. So this one gets a little tricky. All of you are here looking to potentially do some type of sales. Anytime you sell in the state of California and you are selling within the state of California, you are required by law to collect sales tax on items that are taxable. So part of the process as you're getting ready to start your business, or maybe you've already started your business, you need to make sure you have your seller's permit. The seller's permit is issued by the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. And this seller's permit allows you essentially to sell. It's your responsibility to collect the sales tax based on the location where the sale takes place and pay the California Franchise Tax Board their cut, their 9 to 10% in sales tax. Now, I'll get into a little more details in a second regarding that aspect of it. One other thing that you get as a benefit of having your seller's permit is that with your seller's permit, you get what's called a resale license. So what this does is it allows you to go buy products or items without having that are taxable and not have to pay taxes. Because at the end of the day, you're buying the items to resell them. Whether you buy, turn around and sell, or you buy, and based on the items, you create something new, and then you turn around and mark it up. And if it's taxable, you add your tax, and then you sell it. The last thing you want to do is have to pay taxes on items you're buying to eventually sell. That makes your product 10% more expensive, depending on where you're buying the products and the local sales tax. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't pay sales tax. So the way it works is by having your seller's permit, you go to your supplier, your vendor, you let them know you have a seller's permit. What they'll do is they have a piece of paper that they fill out. They're going to write down your seller's permit number, the information. Now, of course, if you do, let's say for your arts, for your hobby, you do jewelry. And if you go to a store and buy a television set, unless you're going to take that television set and put it on a chain for someone to hang around their neck as jewelry, it does not count. You do have to pay tax. It's illegal. You're only able to bypass paying taxes on products that you're purchasing that are going to be used for your business to resell at some point. So you may not use it for personal or even to furnish your office to buy new equipment or new computer or whatever it may be. It's strictly for not paying taxes on products you're going to resell. Very, very important. So now the other key element that's a big challenge for online sales is that you are required by state law to collect the sales tax based on the location where the product is delivered. So many of you may be looking to operate from home. That is going to be your headquarters. If you're selling from home, you do not tax them based on where you're located. You tax them based on where they're located and they're receiving the product. So it's important to know where to go to get the sales tax percent. So that way, when you bill them the correct sales tax. So that gets a little tricky. The CDTFA does have on their website a variety of workshops they provide where they sit down with you. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they'll cover all the elements of not just applying for a seller's permit, where to go to find out what the sales tax should be, how to calculate, and then of course, once you create your account, how often you're paying the sales tax to the state. Is it quarterly? Is it every 6 months or once a year? So I recommend go to their website. So right below, there's an additional link I've added called the Tax Guide for Marketplace Facilitator Act. So the Marketplace Facilitator Act is a law passed in October 2019. Well, it was passed before, but it became effective October 1st, 2019. So they passed a law requiring marketplaces, such as your eBays, Etsy's, Amazon's, etc., to collect and remit sales tax on sales facilitated through the marketplace. So in short, any sale you make on these websites, what they'll do is they'll calculate the sales tax based on the shipping address, collect the payment, and send you your portion of the cut, but they hold on to, of course, their commission and the sales tax generated from the sale if the item is taxable, and they are responsible to pay the state. So for those of you who may be looking to strictly sell on marketplaces such as Amazon, eBay, Etsy, or Walmart, these sites have already committed and adopted the law, and they will not give you an alternate option. If you sell on any of these sites, they will automatically calculate the tax, so it makes it easy for you. Now, if you're on Shopify or if you have your own website, the responsibility is going to fall on you to make sure that, again, you figure out what's taxable, you tax at the correct rate depending on where you're drop shipping the product, or not drop shipping, but delivering the product to, and then that money is paid to the state. Now, a lot of small business owners, what they do is if they're doing the taxes, to make it easier on them is that they will look and say, okay, I'm going to be selling in this area. What's the highest tax rate in this county or in California? Let's say the highest tax rate is 10.25%. So what they'll do is they will mark up all their products by 10.25%. And when they list the sale price, they'll say, this product is $10, sales tax included. So this way, when they're selling, they don't have to figure out how much to calculate for the taxes. They just basically already know that the taxes are included in the total cost, and they have to promote, or when they sell the product on your website, on the website, have to say sales tax included if you create your own web store. And then when they submit their information to the state to pay the taxes, they will list, these are the locations where we sold. This is the gross revenue, sales tax included. And so what then the state will do is make the calculation saying, you had $50,000 in sales, that includes the tax. So they will retroactively calculate the different tax components and pull and let you know how much you owe in taxes. So there's different little elements. And again, by going to their website, which is included in the link, and you will be getting a copy of the slides, and they will be made accessible to you. You'll be able to go to their website, sign up for one of their webinars, learn how the system works, what to do, how to collect the sales tax. And again, if you're strictly selling on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, or one of these marketplaces, then if they provide that feature, or if that feature is already required, then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it. However, if it's not included, then you're going to have to figure that part of it out. Now, moving along, this part will go a little faster. When you're looking to start your business, of course, many of you may be working from home. If you're not working from home, you're looking to lease a space. You need to figure out where exactly you're located, if you're in a city or an unincorporated LA County. If there's any doubt, you can always go to this website, select district map, look up by address, and then it's going to go ahead and tell you if you're in the city or if you're an unincorporated once you enter the address. So very important, left address is in West Covina. It is in West Covina, except, however, the address on the right side is in La Puente, but if you pull up the address, it's in unincorporated Avocado Heights. This indicates where you have to go get the permits and licenses. Very, very important. So planning department, many of you, if you're looking to do business at home, you may or may not be allowed to do business from home. That's a zoning issue. So you'll want to check with the local planning department in your city to see what will be allowed, what are the guidelines, requirements for doing business from home. As long as you're not having people come to your house to pick up products, or there's a long line of people regularly coming to your house, you should not have an issue, but they'll be able to direct and give you a better guidance of what is or is not allowed locally. They handle everything, again, from zoning issues, land permits, and anything else. If you're in a city, check with your local government. The planning department will be located at City Hall. If you're an unincorporated, it'd be an LA County department. If you're looking to lease a space in the future for your store, if you have a brick and mortar down the road, make sure that you verify with the planning department that you're allowed to have the type of business at the location before you sign the lease. One of the biggest complaints that we get or calls is related to someone signing the lease, going to the city, and the city saying, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to do that type of business at that location. The landlord may not care, they may be perfectly fine, but there are other elements as to why the city will not allow that type of business. It could be a parking issue, or just the type of business location, if it's very residential versus industrial versus commercial. So very important, always make sure you verify with that planning department before signing any leases. Now, building and safety department, again, if many of you are going to be working from home, won't impact you, but down the road, if you ever decide to lease a space, if you have to do any work to the space, any new construction, addition, remodels, you have to go to building and safety. Again, they're located at City Hall, and they're going to just make sure that everything that's fixed or changed is per code, meets local requirements. The last thing you need is the space to collapse on you, get flooded, someone get electrocuted, or something bad because the contractor didn't do the job correctly. City, go to your local government. Unincorporated, go to LA County Department of Building Safety. Public health. There may be some of you that are great bakers and you're thinking, hey, maybe I should do a food business online. If you're doing a food business online, or any business, of course, body art is not online, but it is a hobby and an art. If you're going to do any type of these businesses, you have to deal with the public health department. There will be a permit required. So it's good to keep in mind. Focusing specifically on the food element of it. Now, well, let me first get the slide and then I'll get to that part of it. As you're looking to see if you have to deal with the Department of Public Health who enforces state regulations, you will go to LA County Public Health with the exception of Long Beach, Pasadena, and Vernon. These are the only 3 cities in LA County that have their own personal public health department within the city. For the rest of LA County, the rest of you who live in any other city, you will have to go to the LA County's public health department. They're the ones that manage all health permits. And again, going back to those of you who may be great bakers, were potentially considering selling your products online, your baked goods, there's 2 key elements that come into play which make it a very challenging. If you're an online business, if you sell locally and you get your cottage food operation going, which allows you to cook it from home, and you deliver it yourself, no issue. However, if you have a food store that is a cottage food operation that's allowed from home, and you're going to ship it through a third party, a FedEx, a UPS, then one, you will not be allowed to cook from home. You actually have to have a commercial kitchen. And secondly, you are required to get a permit from the state in addition to the LA County's permit. And then there's other elements that come in with regards to how to ship, the labeling, the ingredients, all this. It gets very complex very quickly. So here are the links to learn more about cottage food operations. If, again, those of you who are good at baking, that's one of your hobbies and you want to definitely start selling, you can go here to learn more about what type of health permit you need so that you're able to operate from home and sell products locally, whether at a farmer's market or, again, you delivering them to a store, to a restaurant, or to individuals' homes. Business licenses. So business licenses are key. If you are in LA County, you would go to your local city, local government for your business license. They're going to be able to tell you what you need, what's required, what's allowed. If you're an unincorporated, treasurer tax collector covers the license. Now, there's a big difference between city and unincorporated when it comes to business. So let's go ahead and I'm going to cover the unincorporated part of it, but I'll talk about the elements within the city, what differentiates them. So again, if you're in unincorporated areas and then the contract cities of Malibu, Santa Clarita, and Westlake, you go to the treasurer and tax collector. Everywhere else, you just go to your local city hall to get your business license. For the treasurer tax collector, again, they handle all of unincorporated, including contracted cities of Malibu, Westlake Village, and Santa Clarita. The biggest difference is for LA County, it's regulation-based and only impacts businesses whose activities will impact the public's health, safety, and welfare. So the simple example, when it comes to a restaurant in unincorporated, you need a license, a business license. If you're in a city, you need a business license. If you open a brick and mortar retail store, if you're an unincorporated, you do not need a business license. If you're in a city, you are required a business license. When it comes to e-commerce, for unincorporated, you do not require a business license. However, in the cities, you will most likely require a business license. The best bet is just check locally to find out what those requirements are and give them a call. They're going to need various articles or documents from you when you file. So it's good to call, find out if there's a cost or is it tax-based based on your revenue, and then what you need to supply when you apply. If you are an unincorporated and you have more questions, you can definitely give any of these offices a call. At this time, the actual physical locations are closed for LA County, so you'd have to do it by phone. Requirements for opening during COVID-19. So right now there are certain regulations in place. If many of you are going to be online, e-commerce, these will not apply to you. However, if you are being in a physical location or if you're doing deliveries, you want to make sure that you understand the protocols so that at the end of the day, everyone's protected. These protocols provide key elements so that there's policies and practices in place so it protects the employee's health, ensures physical distancing, procedures to ensure infection mitigation, effective communication with employees and the public, and then ensuring equitable access to critical services. So those are the 5 key elements. To learn more, you can go to this link and find the type of industry. For many of you, for online business, hobbies, you would be retail, so you can go read the retail plan and what's required if you have a physical location. As well, if you do end up potentially having a physical location, there is a safety compliance certificate program that was developed for business owners and employees where you can self-certify, and by self-certifying, you get a special certification you can put on the window stating that you are safety compliant, to make sure that indicate you're following the protocols to keep everyone safe, and therefore they should come shop at your business. So we're finally getting to the tail end, and we have a lot of Q&A. I know they've been building up, so we will definitely, again, make time for the Q&A. Real quick, let's get to the business assistant. So there's a lot of information that was provided. And so as new business owners, you've taken the first right step, and maybe this may be your fourth, fifth step, which is doing the webinars, learning more, picking up pieces of information as you develop and decide how to create your business, what to do, how to do it. And here's additional resources, whether they're online, there's online and college courses you can take, and how to find a mentor, counselor, and all these services are for free. So right now I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Jose, who's going to talk about the LA County Library and their amazing resources. So Jose, it's all you.
Hi, everybody.
Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Jose Parra. I'm one of the adult service coordinators here at LA County Library, and I want to talk a little bit about some of the services that we offer for you. Even while we're closed, even when we're closed, we are offering all of our services online. We do have 46 libraries where you could currently pick up your hold. So if you place a hold on a physical item, you could find those at 46 of our locations, where you could also print 10 free pages every day. So if you need to print out a form, but you don't have a printer, you could go through lacountylibrary.org and find out more information on how you could send your documents to be printed at the library, and then you would go there and pick them up. Some of the resources that we do have available for for you who are looking to start a business, you would be able to find at lacountylibrary.org/business. Go ahead and move to the next slide. The first one is Business Insight. Business Insight gives you company profiles, business history, and industry information. So what does this mean for you? What this means for you is that, say you're looking to start a business selling headphones, and you want to know how businesses are doing online. You'll be able to go to Business Insight and see how this business is trending. Is this business trending upward? Are the sales increasing? Are the sales decreasing? Have the sales stagnated? So this will give you an idea, a broad idea, a worldview idea of how these services, how this product is moving. And then you'll be able to decide, is this something I want to get into? Have the sales of this product gone down dramatically in the past year, so maybe I need to stay away? Or maybe you see that there's a huge uptake and it's the right time for you to jump in. So Business Insight will really help you get to know how your business is moving in a worldwide perspective. Legal information resources is one of my favorite underutilized databases that we have. This has a lot of the NOLA Press books. NOLA Press books are amazing because they really help you understand the laws and how they apply to your business, how they apply to your everyday life, really. Now, books are great. I'm a librarian. I love books. I wouldn't be one if I didn't. But the problem with books are that they're physical. And so by the time you print something and put it out, chances are some of these laws have changed. What's great about legal information resources is that it's a digital form. So these could be easily updated. And so they are constantly being updated. And so you'll be able to find the latest form that you need through legal information resources and the NOLA books that are presented there. Reference USA is a fantastic resource similar to Business Insight. What Reference USA does is it catalogs every business in the United States. So what does this mean? So say you want to open a physical location somewhere, but you don't know if this is something that's going to really be viable for you, right? Say this is the example I always use because I love pizza. So I always kind of check when I'm going to go to a new library what pizza shops are around there. And so what Reference USA does, I'm able to put in, I'm going to this zip code, how many pizza shops are there, right? So it really pulls up how many pizza shops are there, right? So you're able to see, like, all right, I'm going to open up a pizza shop, but there's already 4 within a 2-mile radius. Is it smart to open a fifth pizza shop? Maybe it's not. You may be able to see if there are no pizza shops there, and so it's the best part. But you're also able to overlay if there is schools there, if there's other businesses, is there bus stops there. So you're able to really see the flow of traffic and who visits that area. So to really help you understand if this area is a good area for your business, or if you maybe need to look somewhere else, or maybe, I don't know, try a different business. Go ahead to the next slide, please. So now the next couple of slides you'll find under lacountylibrary.org/job help. And these are for you to up your skills. So lynda.com, which now in the private industry is called, why am I blanking on the title of LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning bought lynda.com a few years ago. And lynda.com is a fantastic service. If you go out and go to linkedinlearning.com, you're going to pay about $35 to $40 a month for this service. You get it through lynda.com, through LA County Library. What this does, it gives you tutorials and classes, online videos on how to master your skills. So as a business person, you're probably going to want to learn how to use Photoshop so you could build things for social media. There are classes on lynda.com to learn. You're going to need to learn how to use QuickBooks and Excel so you can keep track of all your massive sales. And that is available through lynda.com, and it's absolutely free. And all you need is your LA County Library card. Next slide, please. So next we have Gale courses. So the slides I'll be talking about are known as MOOCs. MOOCs are massive online courses. What this means is that you'll be taking a live class with a professor, but you'd probably be taking with a few thousand people. Now, with Gale courses, you need to have structure because they have a definite start date, definite end date, and they have a time when you need to turn in your assignment. So it's a real class, and you do get a small certificate at the end stating that you completed it. But it's a great way to find out how to start a business plan, how to do marketing, how to use social media for your business. And all these classes are taught by professionals in that industry. So it's a great way to get a free class. And also, if you're looking to go back to school, right? What better way? Free online course and see if you're ready to join the online learning world and pay for classes. Let's take a free one first. Next slide, please. So universal classes is very similar to Gale courses. The two main differences is that universal classes is at your own pace. So you take the class, you sign up when you want, you finish when you want, you take the small steps. You don't necessarily need to turn in the assignments. But if you just want to kind of self-teach it, there is an instructor on the other end that will grade and look at your paper, but it's not a requirement, unlike Gale courses where you need to turn those things in on time or else you will be dropped from the class. With universal classes, you won't be dropped. You take it at your time, at your leisure, and it's a great way to, learn small business 101 or marketing. You might not want to take the entire class, but you just want a couple of small information on how to start a business plan. You could take classes there. Next slide, please. All right. So as I said, everything available for you is through lacountylibrary.org. And although our locations are physically closed, library cards are still available for you. If you go to lacountylibrary.org, to our main website, and you get a library card, you will see the opportunity to get a digital library card. And this digital library card will give you access to all the resources that I talked here, plus countless other ones, and the ability to place a hold on 3 physical items that you could pick up at one of the 46 locations that we have sidewalk service available, and access to that free printing as well, which is crucial and vital to get your business going. So if you have any questions, you could join our social media, post your questions there, and we will get back to you. Nesto, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. And again, these are great, amazing resources, all for free, available at your fingertips. at lacountylibrary.org. Next, we have our mentoring workshops. So I don't know how many of you have heard of SCORE. SCORE is an organization established by Congress in 1964. They have over 11,000 volunteers across the U.S. These volunteers are people who have over 20 years of business experience, whether opening one or multiple businesses, as well as those who have ran Fortune 500 companies. And instead of turning around and providing volunteer services to maybe feed the homeless or do something else, they want to give back to the next or future entrepreneurs as yourself. So you'll be able to be paired up with a mentor who can give you that guidance, that business acumen they have to help you, mentor you, and fine tune your business plan, your idea, and figure out what's the best way to go. I went on their website real quick. They do have 3 chapters, one in Greater LA. They have the San Gabriel Valley chapter, and then the Long Beach South Bay chapter. So definitely you can go to the individual chapter's website. As I did a quick search on Monday night, these are some of the workshops I found. So they have one, I included the link that you can watch at any time, which are 12 online selling tips for beginners. So this may give you some guidance or assistance as you look to start your business. They have one also, starting an online business for next to no money. They have a workshop, planning tips to make e-commerce business thrive during the peak season. Christmas is around the corner. With COVID-19, things are closed. A lot of people will be doing online shopping. This might be a way to learn how to get your business going, how to get out there. And this workshop is on October 22nd. I included the date so you can go ahead if you're interested in registering and taking it. You don't miss out. And then there's one, Google Analytics 101. Improve your online business by understanding essential data, which is very key. You're going online. You need to know what's driving business to you, who's coming to you. So this is a great way to learn about Google. And that workshop is on November 17th. So take advantage. And again, these are just a few. I did a quick search. And I put it back on you to definitely do a little bit more work, a little bit more research, take advantage of these resources and find the workshops that work for you. In addition, we do have these small business development centers, SBDC, that are located throughout LA County. As SCORE, similar to SCORE and SBDC, a lot of of course, any counseling or mentoring will be online. But the difference between SCORE and SBDC is at SBDC, you have counselors, business counselors, who are going to counsel you, guide you, and they do provide a lot of workshops. I did a quick search. I didn't see any upcoming workshops, but many times they don't put them out on their calendar till 2-3 weeks in advance. And so I just recently saw that they had a Shopify webinar there where they went into detail on basically what it takes to be on Shopify, what to do, how it works. And then they had a digital marketing strategy for measurable results. And again, these are both great organizations. They're free. They're going to help you put together that business plan, answer the questions, guide you. If you do have questions with permits and licenses, they can definitely give you guidance. For the regulatory side of it, of course, myself and my team are available to also provide you that added support and guidance and counseling. Also, our department will be hosting with BedZedek some free legal webinars that are coming up in October, which is actually just 2 days away. And we have one on insurance. So they're going to cover all the legal aspects and the importance of insurance, what to get, what you need. You have contract basics. So as you look into creating contracts, this will be definitely beneficial. They're usually held the second and third Wednesday of October or the month are webinars. In November, we have one that is small business basics and entity choice. So those of you who have not yet decided what type of entity you want to have, November might be a good workshop to attend and get more information. I did see one question asking is when you choose your entity, before you even start operating your business, you have to have decided what type of business entity you have. If you're a sole proprietor operating as yourself, you're good to go. There's really nothing you could do because you are doing business as yourself. The moment you're a partnership, a corporation, an LLC, or you're doing business as a different name, a fictitious business name, you are required to register your business name or follow the articles of incorporation with the state. And again, we can definitely create a little one-on-one counseling session to answer a little bit more in depth those questions with no legal or tax advice. We cannot provide that that level of detail, but these may be good. So definitely check our website regularly for upcoming webinars. There is how to start your business webinar next month. The second half is essentially the second half of this presentation, the permits licensing, but the first half, I go into a business plan, doing a market analysis. And again, for time, that element wasn't included here, but you're more than welcome to sign up and join us next month for the first hour of the webinar. It's on a Saturday. And with that, we've come to the end. Thank you for joining us. Any questions, you can always email us at concierge@dcba.lacounty.gov, and we will try the best to definitely give you the answer, direct you to where the answer is. And with that, let's go ahead and get to all your questions. Thank you again for your patience. A lot of information, ran a little long. So let's see, let me figure out how we're gonna tackle this for the questions, in what order.
I guess, Ernesto, I've been kind of collecting the questions, so I can ask them for you if you'd like, and based on topic.
That's awesome. You are a lifesaver, makes it so much easier. Thank you so much.
Great.
So shoot away.
So yeah, we had a couple questions about nonprofits and sort of nonprofits versus for-profit. If there's anything different, if there's something special you need to think about.
So for-profit, nonprofit, there may be some key elements, but what you're filing for is very different. And when you're a nonprofit, you have to decide what type of nonprofit you're going to be. The most common is the 501c. Unfortunately, myself and my team don't have at this time any information or guidance to direct you on how to fill out the paperwork. There is an organization called Public Policy. Again, it's Public Policy. They are a nonprofit that provide pro bono legal advice, and they do hold webinars every so often. They can provide guidance for free. They may be a good organization to reach out to see if they can help you with the paperwork side of it. But the biggest difference between for-profit and nonprofit is that for-profit, you go provide a service or sell a product, and that's where you make your money based on what you're providing. As a nonprofit, essentially you need to go find who's going to give you money to provide the goods and services you want to provide. Because at the end of the day, as a nonprofit, you are not charging or billing who you are assisting. So that's the biggest challenge, is you need to know how to potentially write grant requests to request grants from either government, philanthropists, or other entities out there that have money and are willing to give money for the type of service or product you want to provide as a nonprofit. Okay, hopefully that provided enough information. Next.
Yes. There are a few questions about if your service is a remote service or a website and not like an actual physical product. Are there any other things to think about when starting that as a company, as opposed to like some more arts and crafts or?
Right. So for remote service, of course, the biggest challenge right now is, everything's remote. And I know the challenges from teleworking or providing a lot of these webinars. I'm used to doing these webinars with our fellow librarians at the library, and it's just nice having that face-to-face interaction when there's a need, even though you can do a lot of stuff remotely. When you go remotely, you will need to establish that trust. You need to make that connection with your customers because everything's remote. So, it may require just more marketing, finding ways to develop that trust, or finding ways to make that connection with your clients to get them to buy your service. A lot of, depending if it's web development or, programming type search, those type of businesses will be a lot of remote, a remote type service. And again, it's a lot of just trying to find ways to reach your customers. And yeah, that might be, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. I would recommend look around through the Small Business Development Centers, SCORE, and some of the other organizations to learn how to market yourself online, how to differentiate yourself online so that you can stand out and provide those services.
And then for somebody's website, there's a question about, I guess a lot of websites now have cookie consent pop-ups or privacy policy pop-ups. Can you speak to that, whether or not it's a requirement of law or just in practice?
Correct. So if you're in California, yes, you're getting those pop-ups like there's no tomorrow about allowing the cookies. And part of that is because California is definitely ahead in a lot of its regulation. They passed a bill with regards to privacy. As many of us know, a lot of our information is out there online. A lot of websites were collecting our information without our consent, without us being aware. Just by visiting the site, they would get information of what you clicked on, what sites you visited, and then they turn around and sell that information to make money. And so California decided to pass legislation. So with any online business, if you're capturing any data, any key elements, just by them visiting your site, you have to let them know what you're doing, what your policy is, how you're going to use the data, and also if you are collecting the data. If there's no data to be collected, if you're not doing anything. Now, that's different than your customer coming to you, buying a product, giving you their information. That's different, right? This is more related to there's cookies or elements of your information that lives on your web browser. And so when you visit a site, some of those elements of what you're doing, it's collecting to know what you like, what your trends are, and then that's the information that's sold, and you're not aware, you're not providing the information for a reason. They're capturing it. So that's what's happened. So if you do create a website, if you are going to try and capture that type of information to sell the data, then you have to be aware of the legislation, the law, how it applies, and what you need to do to make sure that you let your customers know.
Great. And then we have a couple questions about trademark patenting. Resources they can go to for that.
So if you actually go to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, they actually have some really great videos that breaks down the difference between a patent, a trademark, and a copyright. And depending on which one you want to do, you can learn of how to go about what applies. As you're doing arts and crafts, or you're doing certain products, music, for example, music is usually copyrighted, or a poem is copyrighted. You can't, but you don't have to prematurely go register it. You create it, and then if someone steals it from you, you just have to show at that moment you go register, you show the trail of you creating that item to show that it belongs to you. Even though you can register in advance, a lot of it is more showing the proof. When it comes to trademark or a patent, that has to actually be done at the USPTO, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And again, go to their website. They have some great intro videos that really get into great detail what to do, how to do it, what they recommend for assistance. So that way you can get a better handle, differentiate between a trademark and a patent, and be able to proceed appropriately.
Okay. And how do you manage profits and tax reporting? Is it necessary?
Wait, can you repeat that again?
How do you manage profits and tax reporting? Is it necessary?
Oh, it's very necessary. So if you were to attend my Saturday workshop on you're starting a business, one of the key elements that I talk about through 2 hours, I keep repeating myself, is documentation. If you are not tracking your profit, your expenses, your cash flow, your business is going to go under. 78% of businesses go under, close within the first year because of cash flow problems. If you don't understand your money, if you're not keeping track of your money, what's coming, what's going, when you make money, when you're losing it, you're going to run out of money, you're going to have cash flow problems, and your business is going to shut down. And part of that documentation is going to help you when you do your taxes at the end of the year. If you're a sole proprietor, you're most likely doing what's called a Schedule C, which is a form as part of your personal taxes, where you're going to report your profits, any losses, all your information, and you do your taxes. If you're a corporation, then there's other elements that you have to do to file your taxes for the corporation. But it's very important. You need to track, maintain, and keep some type of a bookkeeping. And again, Jose talked about how they have some great videos either through lynda.com or through the college classes for free to learn how to do your bookkeeping. The IRS will take any type, whether it's Excel spreadsheet, a piece of paper, a journal, or if you want to purchase a subscription to some of these software packages that provide this information or assistance. That's for you to decide if you want to spend the money. But again, you have to definitely track everything to make sure that you can turn a profit and make sure you report the correct amounts you pay the correct taxes.
Great. And do you know if there are any postage services that are free to use aside from just basically shipping from your home yourself?
No, not that I know of. Sometimes when you're a nonprofit, there may be something other, maybe low cost, but for free, I've not come across anything that is that's free when it comes to shipping or postage.
Okay. Any advice for a pop-up shop? I'm assuming this means like in a physical location.
Correct. So if you're doing any pop-ups, I mean, those are popular. They come and go, whether it's a pop-up restaurant, pop-up retail. If you're doing any type of pop-up, you want to make sure that, first of all, before you sign the contract for that day, for that or those days at the location, you want to make sure that zoning is going to allow it, that the city where that pop-up location is, they will allow you to operate there for the day. Find out from the city or an incorporated to find out if you need a business license or a temporary license to operate there for the day, and just check with the local city jurisdiction to find out. The other elements, as a pop-up, of course, as a business, you need to make sure you have your business and the entity in place, meaning you're a sole proprietor, partnership, corporation. You want to make sure if you're a sole proprietor, you don't need your EIN, your employer identification number. However, if you are a partnership or a corporation, make sure you have your EIN in place. And then from there, just check whatever the local requirements are. So zoning, to make sure you're able to operate your pop-up at the location you're looking at. And then the business license. If you are, let's say, in the city of Downey and you're trying to do your pop-up in West Hollywood, you want to reach out to West Hollywood City Hall to find out if the issue one-day business licenses what are required. If there's any food involved whatsoever, there are temporary, 1, 2, 3 day permits that Department of Public Health issues. So you would need to definitely check with them to get that permit if there's any food involved in your pop-up.
And speaking of food, is candy considered food under the cottage law or rule?
Yeah, so any type of food you're selling, whether it's you're buying it pre-packaged, whether it's soda or chips or candy, or if you're making the candy yourself, you will still need to get some type of permit from the health department to be allowed to do this. So again, the presentation does include the link to the cottage section, or if you do a Google search, just look for LA County DPH for Department of Public Health, Environmental Health, and then you can find their website to learn more about what is required.
Great. And I think one last question, which I think might be a whole nother workshop. What is the process to close a business if you wish to discontinue?
It kind of cut off at the tail end.
Oh, what is the process to close a business if you wish to discontinue it?
If you're looking to close your business, the biggest mistake everyone does is they just walk away thinking, it's the end of life of this business. I'm done with it. Especially right now with COVID-19, unfortunately, many business owners are taking this into consideration. You want to make sure that when you close, you reach out to the respective licenses or permits that you have, and you let them know that you're closing your business. So for example, if you do sales and you have a seller's permit, you want to reach out to the Department of Tax and Fee Administration to let them know that as of X date, you're closing your business. Because if you don't let them know, in 3 months or in 6 months, they're going to send you the bill for the taxes, basing it on their estimate of what they think you sold. And if you don't get the bill, if you don't see it, then there's going to be penalties. It gets really messy. With the city, the same thing. If you have your business license, reach out to the local city, cancel your business license. If you're a sole proprietor with a fictitious business name, your DBA, reach out to the county and abandon your DBA. You want to make sure that someone else doesn't start operating under the DBA and then it's tied to your name, even though it may expire. DBAs are good for 5 years. So, you might have 6 months, you might have a year left. What if you walk away and someone else decides to operate under that business name? Or if you have a corporation, reach out to the state and let them know that you are closing shop essentially and canceling. So just go through all your different permits, licenses that you have, that you renew, whether it's once a year, every 2 years, every 3 years, or in case of the fictitious business name, every 5 years, and let them know that you are closing the business to go ahead and close, cancel, whatever terminology they use, so that they make a note and close your account essentially, or cancel that permit license.
Great. Well, that was, we powered through all the questions. So thank you so much. I know we ran a little bit long, but thank you. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed the program. And a big thank you to Ernesto for putting together a really detailed and wonderful presentation. And thank you to Jose as well for presenting about the library and all the resources. If you want to join us next week, we have another program exploring small and online businesses with a conversation with the founders of Mujeres Market, which is a community-based pop-up market featuring women of color and queer and transgender creators and artists of color. And that'll be on October 6th. If you subscribe to our virtual programming newsletter, you can get more information about that program, or you can check on our website. And if you're interested in participating in more of our upcoming virtual programs, please visit us at lacountylibrary.org, and have a great rest of your day, and good luck on all of your new wonderful businesses. Thank you so much.